I'm Celia from Let's Talk Terror, and today we're going to the Bronx and straight into the heart of the hunt. Today I'm joined by the team of Hunters, a gritty new horror short about werewolves. And we'll be talking about the mythology, the madness, and the making of this proof of concept film. So grab your silver bullets because this one's got bite. Hello, everyone. We'll just go ahead and get started. So please introduce yourselves.
My name is Miguel Martinez. I'm a filmmaker and screenwriter and comic creator, I guess. Yeah.
Oh God, my turn. So you think I get used to being on camera? Hey, this is Keeshan Giles. I'm an actor, writer, and I guess after working with Mickey, I'm a producer. So I got a new hat to put on, and I've been doing this pretty much half my life now.
Half your life, my goodness. I feel it.
Yes,
Same, honestly. Like the horror is my life. I
yes.
am a Halloween baby through and through. It's been my entire life, so I totally get it. But do you mean horror or like movies in general?
Movies, TV in general, but I found horror at a very early age. I mean, I was it's one of those things where your parents want to go see a movie that they have a baby, they don't have a babysitter, so they take you and they kind of cover your eyes at the end. But you find a way to start looking through the fingers
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff. So I think I started watching horror movies when I was like 9, 10 years old. So it's like way younger than you probably should.
Well,
But yeah, it just gravitates to you. It's like being on that roller coaster ride where it's like it's dangerous, but it's also safe at the same time. And when you laugh, it's like nervous laughter because you're being entertained because it's very entertaining, the good ones.
yeah.
Yeah, I was at a like a sleepover at a friend's house, and we put on the miniseries. And I was like, I didn't really watch horror movies, and I was like, what's this stupid clown? And I was like the tougher kid because I guess I grew up a little, like a little bigger than the other kids, like before, like whatever. And so they were like hiding behind me, and then I started hiding behind the couch,
You found out real quick that this wasn't just some
You
stupid
know,
clown.
real quick. Like yeah,
Real
it was
quick.
yeah, it was
it's true.
it was crazy because like I remember the what scared me most wasn't the clown specifically. The thing that I remember most was when the kids see the clown and then they their eyes get I mean their hair gets white. That
Yeah.
freaks me
Yeah,
out.
yeah. And for that one, for its time, it was really ahead of its game with some of the special effects and the jump scares. For a TV movie where it's just like random blood explosions and people just freaking out, like, "Oh, I did not expect to see that." And
Right.
I was at my grandparents at the time when I was watching it, and it was just like they had no idea this movie was about because they fell asleep, and I'm just like, but it sucks you in. And Tim Curry was amazing as Pennywise. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Miguel
it's
is
just
amazing. He's
it's
so
just
good at it.
And sometimes you see him like I saw Rocky Horror this year, like with the Shadowcast, and sometimes you're watching him on screen and you see flashes of Pennywise, and it kind of like takes you back a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Pennywise or clowns.
I'll do that.
We
I'll,
are here to talk about werewolves, but not only
yes.
werewolves, werewolves in the Bronx. Now, I'm going to need you guys to educate me because I've been to New York City, but I've only done tourist things in Manhattan. So we're going to get to the Bronx specific stuff. But first, I
Okay.
need you guys to tell me what what Hunters is. Just a very short, like one or two sentences. What are we looking at here?
You know me, Mick. I'm kind of long-winded, so you like he's been teaching me how to be concise, but it's been an uphill battle.
You can do
Like
it. I believe in you.
it,
Try it.
it's essentially a horror action film that takes place in my hometown borough of the Bronx, New York, where werewolves are trying to take over. It's like it's there was a movie a couple years ago called Vampires versus the Bronx that came out on Netflix, which similar premise where it's just supernatural forces are trying to take over an area they think is, oh yeah, this is a pushover. They don't know the Bronx, and that's just we're a different animal, because it's like when people from New York, when you ask people actually see you, like, where you from? Where you from? Like, oh, you're from Bronx. You always get they're not,
and
sure,
they let you out.
It's like that type of thing where it's like, oh yeah, y'all kind of wild up there. I'm like, yeah, that stuff happens. You just got to survive. But it came as an idea to me for two reasons. One, I always love my hometown, and they rarely show that part of New York City. It's usually Manhattan. It's sometimes Brooklyn, but the other boroughs don't really get much love. And the Bronx is like, that's the birthplace. That's where the Yankees are. So that's all people know, Yankee Stadium, and that's it. And the Bronx Zoo. So I wanted to show more flavor of like the day-to-day life. And werewolves to me have been the most underrated supernatural creature in the whole like monsterverse. Because I feel to me it's easier to do a vampire because all you need is a pair of teeth and maybe some like goth clothing and some long hair. But when it's done right with werewolves, the creature effects, it's breathtaking. It's like, to me, when I first saw American Werewolf in London, the transformation sequence in bare light, where it felt like it was in one shot when it really wasn't, but it was just like amazing.
Yeah.
So like I was hooked from back then, and it was just like, since then you got that movie, The Howling, and a couple others where it's just like, when they get the creature right, it's just like, wow. And the idea of something other than yourself that's inside you, and like you've been keeping it down, and then it finally comes out. And then once the toothpaste is out the tube, you just kind of have to deal with the repercussions. So it's that kind of thing, like on a psychological note, where it's just like, we all have that thing in us that needs to get out sometimes, but we kind of keep it down, and then gets to the point you can't hold it in anymore. And then sometimes all hell breaks loose. But you're there for the ride.
Was there some sort of triggering event that you were like, oh, it's time for werewolves, let's go? Or what happened with that? Did it just appear?
Actually, there it was. Couple years back, I hurt my back when I was working my night job, and I herniated a disc, and I couldn't work, and I had to get back surgery, and I was recuperating at home, and it just kind of came to me in a dream, like pieces of the movie. It was like being chased in a forest, and I couldn't figure out what it was, but I knew the thing was right behind me. And then when I turned, I just saw like this big like wolf thing standing over me, and the eyes were glowing, and then it felt like I was looking at myself. It was very trippy. I just woke up from like a fever and medication-induced dream and just started writing. Grabbed the first pen and paper and just started writing. And over the years, I've had help with it, trying to streamline it and make it more like script worthy, because I had never written a script before. So this is a couple years of writes and rewrites of getting it just the way I like it. And then blind luck, where I happened to come into Miguel's life with I'm taking an acting class now, and his wife is actually a member of the acting class. And then we started talking, and she started to express her love of horror. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. And then we went to a film festival that Mickey and his wife were actually in, and their film blew the doors off of everything was in the festival with it, by like leaps and bounds. And I'm watching it, and then every so often I would watch the movie, and I look at him, and I watch the movie, and I look at him, and I'm like, he gets it. This dude gets it. Because he has a way of making his movies, like, yes, they're horror movies, but there's some type of social commentary snuck in.
Yeah,
he's not shoving it down your throat. He's not trying to teach you a lesson. He's just like, in this world, this is going on, and also this other stuff is going on. And that's the kind of like the feel I'm trying to put when I came up with the idea for Hunters, where it's just like all this other day-to-day stuff is happening on top of we're dealing with werewolves too. And I feel like when a movie has 1 foot in reality and 1 foot in the supernatural, it works better than it just being all of one or all of the other, because the audience can relate to it more. Like, right. Oh yeah, I was going through that same thing, and then you're like, man, that's hard enough, and then you got werewolves too. What? So yeah.
Now, werewolf movies typically are of the gothic kind, and you're usually like in a forest in the Pacific Northwest somewhere, or at some European like travelers camp. But Hunter's here reading the synopsis. This is going to be completely different, like the total opposite. It's going to be not only in a very modern setting, but in like one room, in an interrogation room. So where did that idea come from? Because to me, that's like that seems like it'd be maybe hard to pull off.
Well,
Let's talk about what's going to happen in this interrogation room. Tell me more about that.
there is like such thing as um like urban gothic and like modern gothic, and it's more of a way that you can orchestrate and like assemble space is what is kind of what would make something gothic. And like it's like there's gothic romances, and there's gothic horrors, and there's southern gothic, which is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like those are southern gothics. And so like I really was drawn to like the idea of like trying to bring that into like an more of an urban industrial suburban setting,
A
which is kind
Bronx
of
Gothic, if you will.
which is exactly what the Bronx Gothic is. So
I
like
like I like that idea of a Bronx Gothic because, like Miguel was saying, if you go live in the Bronx, there are areas that are kind of urban, and there are areas that are kind of suburban, and there's a lot of wooded areas. There's a lot of parks, so it has a little bit aspects of all the different Gothics you mentioned, all in one location.
Okay.
yeah, so you have this sort of like cold industrial detective, like this sort of what was it? It's this where they're interrogation room,
Interrogation, yeah.
and then we sort of structured it to where different people are being interrogated about different events that have happened in the city, and we show those events, and the events are different parts of like what would make the Bronx look more gothic. Like there's suburban in there. There's
Okay.
something more urban, like a club and like outside of a club, like kind of in the way that you would imagine Blade is sort of a gothic urban thing, and
I
it's
see.
like that. And so like there's those different aspects of the city being brought together in like a little mixer, and we wanted to like well because Keeshan has like a feature version of this that he's been working on. And so like when he came to me, he's like, I don't know how to put this together in like a short thing. And so I sort of structured it for him of like, okay, I think the best thing to do would be this, and this. And like the idea behind that was to showcase the best visual parts of the story you're trying to tell in like less than 7 minutes, and then just to get so everyone can get a taste of it really quickly, and then get out and then be ready to like either support you for a feature or spread the word on it or talk about it or something.
Okay, okay. I was gonna ask this later on, but since you brought it up now, what are your intentions with this proof of concept? Sure, you said you're making a feature. Will this happen even if we don't meet our goals for the
What do you think,
Kickstarter?
Keyshawn?
I
What's your
yeah,
point?
I'd like to think so. It's one of those things where we're in a time industry wise. Oh, the cat showed up. Nice. We're in a time industry wise where you can't just tell somebody what you want to do. You have to show them
Yeah,
because everybody's attention spans are like they don't have time to read, but they'll watch something. So I would love a full length version of this so we could really get into the meat of the story and show the different types because um now I'm trying not to get super like blah, blah, blah. But that was always the goal was to make a full length feature, and I've had versions where it was over 2 hours long, and I have versions where it was like 75 minutes, and we found to split the difference where it's like maybe 95 100 minutes. So it's one of those things where it's I know there's a good story because when I tell people about it and the people who've read the pages, they like what they read. And it was one of those things where it's just like, well, man, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, I don't know. And all my years in the business, you really have to know somebody to get connected in order to get into the right hands because I know so many scripts that are just sitting on desks collecting dust or sitting in a computer where it's just like they'll get around to it, but there's so many. And it's sad to say that the industry is in a state now where they're very reluctant to take on something new. They'd rather try and rehash something old or do a sequel those are good. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a fan of those when they're done well, but it's just like those movies started from something else. So you got to go back to an original idea every once in a while. And the fans will appreciate it too, because they get tired of the same old thing. And it's just like, even in the pantheon of werewolves and stuff, the Wolfman was a game changer when it came out for Universal back in like the 30s. And then there were like sequels and ripoffs and stuff, but it didn't really hit again until like American Werewolf in London in the early 80s. And then, not to be outdone, then the Howland came. They're like, oh, this is your way of doing it. We're going to go more extreme with it. And you know, and it seems like it's a few decades in between like the next big thing. And I feel like they're due. Their time in the shine. The time is here.
Right.
The last time werewolves got any serious play was like in Twilight. And I mean, no disrespect to the Twilighters, but
no
like,
disrespect, Twilight, please.
That ain't no werewolf. I'm sorry, that ain't no werewolf. It's just, I don't know what it was, but it ain't no werewolf. And sparkly vampires, and it's just like, so the OG horror fans will appreciate this, because I don't know about you, I've seen a lot of these movies where the poster looks dope as hell, and then when you see it and you finally see the reveal of the creature, it looks like a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
It's like, and they didn't even really try past that. I want us to elevate it and put it up there where it belongs, but like the other echelon of monsters. So like that would be my ideal goal. I don't know if we could get it to a full-length feature or a series or whatever. I just want the fan. I'm a fan who made something for fans, and that's it in a nutshell. I wish I would have thought of that short version before I said all that other stuff, but there it's.
No, well, it's all important. It's all important to hear, because there's definitely like a story back there. But let me ask about this man in the suit. I like men in suits. I think it's, when it's done very bad, it's actually quite fun. But you seem to have a gripe with it. Is your man in a suit actually not going to be in a suit? Is it going to be CGI, or are we going to see any kind of cool effects in here?
So,
Or is that a secret?
So because it's a short, the idea was like we're not gonna have as much money to do the thing that we would really want to do.
Right.
So right now there are like three different like ways that we're going to show werewolves.
Okay.
And like it's all different processes of getting like the look down. So like we're really going to play with like different, either like different angles, different like we have like an actual like prosthetic. We also have like makeup artist who's really into like the half transformation.
Ooh.
And like stuff like that. And so and we have like parts that are just for like arms and like hands and stuff. So like there are different ways of like hiding and showing and being really particular with what we show when it comes to like werewolves and like stuff like that. I am very, very, very into the idea that when you have a monster, the way to show the beauty and the grandeur of monsters is to show them as one thing and transfer them into another. And so there's like nothing shows that better than like a werewolf. And so there's like scenes in there that really, really give the idea of change and growth, or like expectation when it comes to what monster you're dealing with. And so I think people who watch it are going to be really surprised of like what we're going to be able to pull off with the little money that we have. Especially when you can see, how can I say this? The point of this is to see, hey, look what we can do with nothing, with almost nothing. If you can give us more, we can go crazy. And I think that's really what we're trying to tell people.
That's what I like about indie people, is that y'all are so smart with how you figure things out with literal pennies. I'm so impressed with every single thing that I see from every person I talk to, and I'm very excited to see some of these half transformations. I love that. I'm just imagining all this crazy stuff in my head. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what that's gonna
Yeah.
look like.
Oh my God, no,
Yeah.
like in one of my other shorts we had to like my idea was like, oh, let's get someone to whittle a mascot out of like wood for us. And then they were like, yeah, that's gonna be a lot of money because whittling is a lot of money because it
Is
takes
it?
so long to do. People charge you so much money, the people who know how to do it. And
Yeah.
like the thing is that the front needs to look away, and then the back, if you're gonna actually wear it, it needs to be perfect because people can get splinters and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like dangerous. And so like we ended up having to do it out of like paper mache and like bits of wood, but like stuff like that. And so
Mhm.
like and then paint it to look like wood, and then carve it out with a knife to look like wood. And that's it's like out of necessity more than anything else.
Yeah. And
It
that's
is the mother of
for what, the
invention.
Lechuza mask?
No, that was for With Your Life for the slasher that I
Oh,
made.
yes, yes.
And
Okay,
it
so
looks
you guys,
amazing.
It
yeah,
looks
it
like
did. It
wood,
looked
but
like
it's
it
It
not
looks
looks
like
like
wood.
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 It looks
It's
like
paper
wood.
mache. It's paper mache with like glue and like carved and painted and stuff.
Wow.
Andrea Rivas did it, and she had to like put it in a suitcase and bring it over here because she flew in from Texas when we filmed. And then on the day she had to like cut it and form it to his face so it wasn't rubbing up against him while he was running and like giving him like cuts or rash or something. It was rough. It
Wow.
was crazy, but it was good. I liked it.
And that was the one that made me like he if you haven't seen it, I mean, I hate to throw spoilers in it, but
No, I
he
have. I've seen it. So
the idea of a woman trying to escape an abusive relationship, a lot of people can deal with that. You feel for her.
yeah.
Add on top that the dude she's trying to get away from is a serial killer. I'm like, what? Then that was like, oh yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy right here because he didn't shove it in your face. It was like this was happening and this also was going on. And
Right.
I think those stories work the best because no one expects to see it. They'll expect one or the other, and it's like, wait, you just merged some real life shit into like a serial killer thing. I was like, wow. And it was just like you really rooting for the final girl at that point then. But it's
Right.
just like he has an eye, and it's like I hope to God this gets made. But if it doesn't, people who have the influence hire this man because he's going to be the one that turns the horror genre around. He really is. Like he's like they'll be talking 50 years from now. They'll be talking about his work like in a class someplace where everybody has anti-gravity belts like the Jetsons because like his stuff is like a little bit ahead of its time, but it's just one of those things where it's like it's needed now. It really is.
Mickey,
Thanks, man.
I didn't tell you this when I reviewed it, but you had me yelling at the screen. Like I was not okay.
No, and like speaking of like what we needed, like doing things out of necessity, the baby, we had a baby in
Oh
that
my
thing.
God,
She
that's
runs out with her
hilarious.
baby.
Yes.
The entire time I'm like, oh, we're gonna get a baby actor. I reached out to agents. I'm like, we're gonna get a baby actor. It's gonna be great. And then my producer and my wife were both in agreement that like, okay, we're not gonna get a baby. And then, but how are we gonna tell him? And then so later, like when I finally realized, hey guys, I don't think we're gonna be able to get a baby. They were like, we needed you to come to this conclusion on your own. And I was like, what do we do? And so they ended up buying, guess what they bought, guys? They on Amazon, my producer was able to get like a baby that is for people who lose children.
Oh, is it
It's
one
like
of
it's
those
like
like
a
real babies?
yeah, it's
Oh,
like a
like a
therapy
support
baby.
Oh
baby.
my
It's
God.
like a support baby, and she bought it, and it has like nice little hairs on it, and it looks really nice, and like it's all of those clothes and everything are really delicate, and then we just like swaddled it, and like the actress is the producer. She funded it. She was able to like imbue life into the baby, and I've never seen someone do that on film like that well, and like she like
Right.
the way she would pick it up and hold it, it felt like it was a real baby. And I was like, oh, that's the thing that before shooting I was most worried about. I was like, people are just gonna be like, that's not a real fucking baby. And like out of every single person who's seen that movie, who I've talked to, like the one thing they never say is that's not a real baby.
It did not even cross my mind. I
Mine
would
either.
I'm just
it's
now figuring
crazy.
out everything is fake.
Everything, no, and yeah, everything is fake. Everything from that short is there's no sound because we couldn't record sound in that place because anyone steps from like the other room, you can hear it.
Yeah.
So everything is Foley, including the baby, including everything. And so I think everything I've done so far is like led me to understand like how much money we would need and how we would be able to do this or whatever. So we're already pretty deep into pre-production on this short, you know what I mean? So like for Hunters, we have our locations ready, we have everything ready, we have most of our cast ready, we know who's going to like sound design this, and so we know what we're doing to the extent of like being ready to accept the funds from Kickstarter and then just going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that we're back on Hunters, let's circle back to the story here. We have two main characters, and they're Buddha and Detective Sharp, yes?
Yes.
Okay. They seem like they have beef, and
Yes. They
it definitely hints at like there's some backstory there. Are we gonna get in these flashbacks, do we also get a little bit of backstory, or is it just like it's acted and written so well that we just know they don't mess with each other?
uh, no, well, thank you. Yeah, well, yeah, I think we wrote it well enough to know that they have history, and I think there's a couple of lines of dialogue that they've had an exchange recently. So in the full length version, these two have been bumping heads since Buddha was a teenager running the streets, and Sharp really does not like him, and he loses a promotion because of his interaction with Buddha.
Mhm.
So the beef it just reaches a boiling point to the point where they come to blows, and Buddha lays him out. So that made it into the short where like he's sporting a fresh black eye thanks to Buddha.
Okay, okay.
So they do not like each other. But the fact that in this situation, Sharp is in the superior position because he has him in handcuffs. So like he feels like he has the upper hand until he doesn't. So
Until he doesn't. That also seems kind of like an allegory for werewolves versus humans, too. Are you trying
mhm.
to make that kind of connection as well, or is that just a happy coincidence?
A little bit of both. Where it is one of those things where I've always felt like if you look at like how the other monsters are treated, werewolves are more often than not treated as the other.
Yeah.
So as a person of color, I can relate to being treated as the other. So there was a True Blood marathon on not too long ago, and the vampires really talk shit to the werewolves. Like they're not on the same plane, which is
Yeah.
like okay, that's wrong. So it's like even in the MonsterVerse, there's still racism. So it's just like you know, it's like we don't have enough to deal with. Like we should be trying to come together and take over the humans, but no, 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 no. Like you
No.
guys sniff each other's butts. We don't want to mess with you. But for the most part, we just kind of fell into that where it's just yeah, it's I didn't mean for it to be an us versus them thing, but it kind of plays that way to some extent.
Yeah, well, if vampires are metaphors for classism, which they
Mhm.
have been since the beginning,
Yeah.
then werewolves are metaphors for like forced subjugation because them almost more so than vampires don't choose it, and when they get changed into it, they still don't have a say. It
Mhm.
happens to them. Like with vampires, if they get bitten and they get changed, they mostly just go along with it or like whatever's inside them goes along with it. They get transformed and in like in a very personal like mindful way. But werewolves when they get transformed, they stay the person that they were, but they're just ostracized because of it.
Right. Okay. So, also in that synopsis, I read that Buddha does transform at the end. We get a little twist here. And I won't say that that's a spoiler because y'all wrote it, so I'm not spoiling anything. Now, what are you trying to make us feel a certain way when we see that? Are we supposed to be scared? Are we supposed to say, "Oh no, poor Buddha. Oh no, he went and got." Are we supposed to be shocked? What is the what are y'all trying to make us feel?
Ah, that's a good
Or do you
question.
care? Is it, not do you care, but like it's just whatever you feel it.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a wrong way to feel about that. But what I felt when we were going through it, it was essentially uh, in opening up of the world that we're like presenting to you.
Right.
So it's very early on that you're like, oh, this is about monsters. Then you're like, oh, this is about werewolves. And at the end, it's almost like this is bigger than we have imagined. This is bigger than we're being led to believe. And there's a very I don't know if it was clear to you, like when you were doing it. There's a very like anti establishment, anti police message in this of almost like, oh, you're arresting these you're we're seeing stories about werewolves, but you're interrogating the people that aren't werewolves, and then
Apropos for today.
now you finally got one, but you don't know what to do with it. Stuff like that.
Okay. Production, creative process. Let's dive into that a little bit. We already talked about how Hunters fits in to the long term. Um, Fingers crossed for having that happen. But you're doing this all through Kickstarter. Are there any why choose Kickstarter, first of all? Because there's a lot of different avenues that you could have gone on, and from my knowledge of Kickstarter, if you don't make it, you don't get it. So why
Yeah.
choose that
So, well,
over
okay, I'm
other
I'm
ones?
gonna answer that again just because Keeshan came to me about it.
Okay.
So I chose Kickstarter because I've done Kickstarter successfully before. One, two, three times. I've done Kickstarter, so I've kickstarted like two comics, like a volume of like a one single issue, one volume, one short film, and now this. And I've assisted other people in doing their Kickstarters. And the reason we chose Kickstarter, at least in the past, was because um, it has the most name recognition out of
Yeah,
people that are not in the film industry, and so they at least have heard about it or have seen it or in any kind of thing. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get someone to input their credit card information on a site that they do not recognize and do not know.
true.
And that it is still true. That is still true, and that is still the hardest hurdle you're going to jump through. Like there are people that are like, "Oh, can I give you cash?" Like stuff like that. And so like that's it's very hard, and that's still Kickstarter's still the most recognized thing out there. I also think that if somebody clicks on your link and it's like some kind of GoFundMe or something, no, not GoFundMe, like I don't know, maybe a Seed and Spark or something,
Yeah,
and it says like, oh hey, like, or it's a website that's known for like, hey, um, they're fundraising and they get to keep all of it. There's less pressure for you to give them money. There's less of a they're putting up less of this sort of like fire under
yeah.
themselves. And so if you see this Kickstarter and you see all the work they put into it, and you know that like this is how much money they need, and if they don't get it, then they lose. Like it's more of an incentive to donate money, and I've seen that over and over and over and over and over, and I still kind of trust it enough, and I still trust people enough for that. And the other thing is just because I knew how Kickstarter looks, and so like I could put together a Kickstarter in like a few days, and because we already had all the information and we had a pitch deck and like we knew all that stuff. I knew the best like what is it rewards the
Mhm.
best rewards that people respond to, and the best rewards for us to be able to get you after. You know what I mean? And just sort of all that stuff. And so I was able to navigate that site better, and I knew I was going to be the one to have to like put it all together. And since I was so familiar with it, I was like, okay, I don't want to have to learn a new thing just like for this in particular because it's so. Because like what we started with Keeshan, because they already had the script when we already had the pitch deck, it was already so fleshed out that now we just needed to like show people this thing that we had made, and hopefully they would respond really well to it. And I think it's going pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mentioned, well, I'll let you speak first and then.
I'm sorry. So yeah, like to add on, it's like he's not kidding because I had never done. I knew of Kickstarter and I contributed, but I never set up my own campaign. So I was completely in the dark. And if it wasn't without Miguel's help, I'd still be in the dark. So it's like he just, oh, you just got to do this, 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 and this. Like, oh wow, I was like, you really know this backwards and forwards. So. And like he said, he's had successful campaigns, so it made sense for him to take the reins and to go this route. And I couldn't be happier. And I'm glad we're almost halfway there with about 2 weeks left. So it's like hopefully we can make it to the finish line.
Yeah. Do you guys have any, did you run into any like challenges? Mickey, you mentioned that you've done this before, so you know what would work and what didn't. Was there anything that you wanted to do, like for example, perk wise, that you thought about it and then going back to what was already being done with hunters, and you're like, no, maybe that wouldn't work, or were there any kind of challenges in that regard?
I think there's two things, and they don't have to do with Kickstarter at all, not really. But I think one of them is um, some kind of like T-shirt or something would have been nice. Something kind of printed thing would have been nice, but because of tariffs, everything
Oh,
is
yes.
expensive, and so it's like okay, we'd have to literally increase the amount of money that we're asking for in order to bring in T-shirts, and I don't think that it would sway that many people. So I don't think that's great. The other thing is like with everything going on in the world right now, and especially we were like, oh yeah, October is spooky, whatever. We didn't know that people were going to start losing their SNAP benefits. So
Right.
it's very very weird to promote this when people are losing the ability to like get food, and like it's like, oh, you can donate to us or you can donate to your local food shelter, and it feels strange. Um, but and there is this thing about how like it's people are donating less and people are buying less. People are just spending less in general. So it's going to take way more work to do this thing. And I'm not saying that like film or short films are like less important, because I think that they create this sort of like what do you want to almost like distract yourself with and like
Right.
have fun with and like enjoy, and like this is what we're here for. But it is sort of, it's going to take double the work to get as much money now, because of like how not stingy but just how like rough it is out there for some people. And so like, because I've been reaching out to people and they're like, oh, hopefully next month when I get my paycheck before this thing happens. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like do what you got to do. But we're here if you want to help. And so stuff like that. And so but people have really appreciated us being so understanding too. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get some pledges at the end of this when people are like, oh, I'm running out of time, but I got money now. Let's go.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's say that Hunters meets its goal and even surpasses it. What would your trajectory be from there before making this into a feature? Are you guys gonna do like festivals? What are you gonna do? Do you
I
have
think
any
we'd
in
like
mind?
to. Very much so. Yeah, this is more Mickey's world, but I always thought that if we got it made, that the next step would be to hit the festival circuit.
Okay.
Yeah. There's
Easy question.
so we have let's see. I'm going to.
And how do festivals work? I'm assuming you have to like apply to be in there and get accepted.
Yeah, so they have deadlines, they have like fees, they have like cutoff things. There's different festivals and there's different tiers of festivals. There's
Yeah.
festivals that are like Oscar qualifying, there's festivals that are genre festivals. And there's some festivals that you're like, hey, I don't think this festival is really into gore, so let's not do gore.
Okay.
Or I think this festival's more into gore. So if my thing's not gory, I can't really get in that. Stuff like that. So we have our pre-production up until like the end of the year. If we
Mhm.
do get this, we have main shoot sometime in January, we're not 100% sure because one of our locations is like, I think the person's leaving sometime in January, so we're gonna have to
Okay.
figure that out. We have our post production February, March, and April, and then deliverables like sometime like in May, and then we start going out to festivals and trying to figure out where we want like to premiere, where we want to like stuff like that. Some festivals are more likely to program you if you're a premiere, even if it's like a state premiere or like
Yeah.
a country premiere or something. So we have to like prioritize and like figure out what we want, and so we have like a little bit of money set aside for that in the budget of like going out to festivals, but we're gonna have to like start to figure out and where people would show up for us. Like if a bunch of people backed us and are from like the Bronx, then like we will try to find a Bronx festival,
Right.
and like maybe like depending on like how the country looks, if we can still like show up, then we'll show up or something. I don't know.
It's kind of disturbing that given the state of the world right now, that determines which festivals we can and can't submit to or can and can't go to. And it's just like you said earlier, we would have never imagined the stuff happening now when we were trying to put this pitch out. We just figured, oh yeah, October, Halloween month, all the horror fans will be there and and then the world just kind of went, and now we're just taking it one day at a time.
That's all you really can do, to be honest. So, if you could describe Hunters in 3 words to get people to back it, what would they be? Take all the time you need. 3 words.
I hear the Jeopardy music playing in my head. 3 words. Well, off the bat, damn good entertainment. Like
Oh,
first and foremost. But scary, fun, and I'm gonna cheat thought provoking with a hyphen. So that's like
I'll
3.
allow it.
I'm gonna use something Keeshan said. He said, "I am seen."
Okay. Okay.
So he put
Yeah.
that in the Kickstarter. So I'm gonna say that.
I
I
like
am
that.
seeing. Oh, dude, like, I forgot. That was hard to write, to be honest with you. I like as I was telling Mickey, like I don't like to talk about myself, which is kind of weird for an actor to do because it's like I do my stuff in front of the camera and I leave it to everybody's interpretation. But when it comes to talking about myself, interviews like this, I don't know what to do. So I feel very awkward. And I just took a minute and spoke from the heart and just left it all on the Kickstarter page. And if anyone sees this and goes to the Kickstarter page, you'll see what we're talking about. And I've put out a couple of videos where I'm kind of like fighting back tears because it means that much to me that to get something like this made and then to have people have that much faith in us to contribute money, that means even more. Because this business, a lot of time you work in a vacuum, so you don't really know if the stuff you're doing is making its way through and making an impact or if people like it or not until you hear people say something to you. And more often than not, they won't. And then when they do, it's just like, wow, thank you. So it means a lot to both of us to get this done and to get any work done because it is not easy getting something made from a thought in your head to making a script to actually filming it and then getting it out there for the people to see. It's nowhere near as easy as people outside the business think it is. And it's just like, well, why don't you just do this? That's not how it works. There's a lot of different levels to get from the idea to the finished product. And sometimes and then it's a battle of wills between the creative people and the executive people, like in the bigger studio. So even everything you want to put in the movie may not make it because someone higher up has an opinion one way or the other, and it has to be changed or their liking. So it's a very weird business to be in. But when it pays off and you make something that connects with an audience, it's like there's no words for it. And I think that's what we're trying to do I think that's what all creatives are trying to do. But us, we're trying to make something that people can really relate to and enjoy seeing. Like Mickey said, the world is crazy right now. We just want you to hey, shut your brain off for a little while, watch what we got, and then see what we can do next.
Yeah, and shout out to Vanessa Dillon, our makeup artist. If
Yes.
however good this is gonna be, it comes down. It's gonna be her.
No pressure.
It's gonna be it's gonna be he wrote the script. It's pretty fun. I'm gonna try my best to direct it, but I'm excited for the werewolf.
I'm excited too, to be honest.
In every monster movie, the monster's a star. We got to come correct for the star.
Yeah, and we met with her, and like we can see her work on the Kickstarter. She's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Her work is just like that's what we're working for. That's what we want. And it's nothing else. I want this project to showcase everybody's work. It's not just about the acting or the writing. It's about the direction. It's about the sound and the cinematography and the music and the special effects. It's just like there are a lot of talented people in this business who aren't able to work as much as they used to, given with all that's going on in the industry. So this is their time to shine as well. Not just the people in front of the camera, but everybody who makes this product work. And that's what I'm in it more for that. I would be more bummed if it doesn't go through for them than for me, because it's just like there's too many talented people in this business who don't get to work as much as they should. And something like this could really showcase everybody's talents. So that's why I really want this to go through.
Would you like to know the 3 words I would use to describe Hunters?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to use your own words. Truce is broken because it's mysterious. And it's like, I want to know more about that. So there are, if I remember correctly, because I am not from New York, there are 5 boroughs, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me what those boroughs are for the audience, people who don't know?
Okay. There's Manhattan, the main borough that most tourists go to. And for New Yorkers, we call it the city. All right. There's the Bronx, which is just north of Manhattan. That's my hometown. Then you go east, you have Queens and Brooklyn. Queens is at the northern end of the landmass. Brooklyn's at the southern end. Mm-hmm. And then all by itself is Staten Island. Shout out to the Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay, so with those 5 boroughs in mind, you guys need to tell me, would each borough have a different werewolf faction, or would each borough have a whole different creature? And who would fight who? Like, is Queens like vampires? Like who's who?
I feel like there in each borough there would be a dominant creature, but it would be a constant power struggle amongst each borough to see which is going to be the dominant one.
Okay.
But that's when the whole truce thing comes in, where it's just like, okay, you get from here to here, we get from here to here, and like this is a neutral zone. So it's I think it's very territorial. So to me, I wouldn't say that each borough has its own singular creature. I feel like there might be a predominant one. They're all throughout the 5 boroughs. But
like vampires are in Manhattan. I don't think anyone's gonna argue that.
Vampires wouldn't come to the Bronx. Vampires would definitely be in Manhattan. They'd be more predominant in Manhattan because that's just their style.
Okay.
Yeah, I think creatures from the Black Lagoon would be in Staten Island
or Queens because it's near water.
That's true.
Okay. And let's see. Let me see. Frankenstein could be Brooklyn.
That's
fun. It's funny. It's kind of fun. Like, yeah, where would the mummy end up? I would think near the museums. But as like any type of wooded area where there's like a lot of trees and shade. Werewolves, that's the Bronx, that's Queens, that's parts of Brooklyn, that's Staten Island, Manhattan. Like could be some in Central Park. Who knows?
They're gonna have to redistrict.
They're going to have to redline it for monsters.
Okay. So now that we're at the end, this is your time to shine. Tell us where we can find Hunters, how much time we got left. Let's do this.
You hit it, Mick. I'm going to start crying.
Yeah. So Hunters, a werewolf short horror film. ends November 17th around noon. And it is a short horror about werewolves stalking the Bronx. I'm very excited.
We're all excited. I'm excited too.
Okay.
I've recently become a werewolf girly, so
See,
we're
welcome to the family. See, it's
Thank
one
you.
of those things where people find their way eventually to werewolves.
Yeah.
So it's weird, a passion project. When I was little, for the longest, I thought I was one. So it was just, it's just full moon come out. I'd just be staring at it and like howling, like, not yet. All right, maybe next year. But it's one of those things where, like Vicky said, it is a very deep passion project. It is on Kickstarter. We have until the 17th, noon Pacific time. Get your donations in, as like every little bit helps. And this is for the horror fans. This is for the werewolf fans. This is from the people in the Bronx. You know, we can bring something else to the Bronx beside the Yankees. We can give them something else to root for. And you know, yes, and because of this, I've reconnected with people I went to grade school with through social media who found out about the project, and we started reminiscing about stuff we were doing in like the third and fourth grade. And now this person's son is old enough to appreciate horror movies, and they contributed, and it's just like I want to do it for him. I want him to be able to see it, and it's just like all the people who contributed, I want them to see where their money goes. And I want you to see, like, this, yeah, we're not just messing around. We want to give you something that you can be proud of. And I think that's why I like the idea of going through Kickstarter, because it really is a community effort. Like, we really need each other in order for this to work. And I think we'd appreciate it more with the finished product, because we all made this happen. Not just me, not just him, not just the crew. Everybody who contributes makes this happen. And you're part of the family. So with that, if nothing else for that, I am eternally grateful for you being part of my family.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. And a huge thank you to Keeshan and Miguel for talking terror with me and sharing their vision for this blood-soaked Bronx nightmare. Be sure to check out their Kickstarter and help bring this short to life. And until next time, I'm Celia from Let's Talk Terror. Keep howling at the moon, stay spooky, and I'll catch you in the next nightmare.